Hey guys, so I had a request earlier to do a post about the kind of pouch reset diet and sort of what that entails. Now there are, if you Google it, there are, people out there that have made very specific rules to follow. But in essence, what it is a pouch reset diet is going back to the liquid diet that you were on shortly after surgery. So that first month or so after surgery, when basically your intake consists of a lot of clear liquids between meals, protein shakes, maybe some, cream soups, cottage cheese, yogurt, that kind of thing. Depending on which diet you look at first, or who made it, there'd be slight variations of it. But in essence, it's going back to some kind of liquid diet to essentially kind of recalibrate your stomach and your sense of fullness. So there's a few things to kind of unpack here. One, I think some people get really worried and alarmed because they're able to eat larger portions, maybe 6 months out from surgery, a year out from surgery, several years out from surgery. I had a phone call. It's the problem with doing a live on my phone. So there's this misconception that, your stomach is supposed to be full off of a third a cup of food or a half a cup of food forever. And that's not the case. Most people can handle about a cup of food at a year or so. And ultimately about a cup and a half might be kind of your max. So just kind of keep that in mind. You are not supposed to stay full off of a third to a half a cup of food forever. So sometimes I think these pouch reset diets come up because just normal things are happening and people just get worried because it's not that severe restriction that you had the first few months after surgery. The other thing is that I'm not a huge fan of is a lot of times people do these pouch reset diets, but if you would just kind of focus on the quality of the foods that you are choosing, that would, in essence, get rid of your need to sort of do this pouch reset. So if you focus on having, good protein choices, so, unfried or not fried, not breaded meats, lean cuts of beef and pork, fresh fish like salmon, tuna, cod, again, not breaded, not fried. And then having, a variety of non-starchy vegetables. So, some roasted broccoli, some steamed green beans, some asparagus, a nice side salad, some raw veggies and hummus, a variety of things to kind of pair with that protein choice. What I find too is that people get really bored with vegetables. And I think I blame dietitians sometimes for this and just the health world in general, because we've been taught it has to be fat free. God forbid you put butter on something or cheese. And, I don't know about you guys, but plain broccoli is kind of boring. So I like to put a little bit of a garlic butter or a drizzle of olive oil and some lemon zest and some shaved Parmesan on my, broccoli, asparagus, green beans, cauliflower, whatever it is. So a little bit of fat for flavor and some seasoning, some herbs, some spices. Like I said, kind of a strong or more pungent cheese, like a Parmesan, maybe a Gorgonzola or a blue or a feta cheese. A little bit can go a long way to really season your foods and make those vegetables a lot more appealing and appetizing. The other thing is, having some fresh fruits, some whole grains, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, all these foods that I'm kind of constantly messaging or constantly posting. If you're choosing these foods predominantly at meals, the need for a pouch reset really isn't required. However, with that said, there are times when I think it can be beneficial for people. Sometimes it's just nice for people to kind of do a reset in their brain, essentially. I just worry mostly with it kind of getting into this whole cycle of yo-yo dieting again, which can be pretty addictive. And considering that we're kind of a sensitive group in that realm of things, I like to kind of put the yo-yo dieting behind us and try to just focus more on everyday choices that you can make. No one's perfect. You're not going to eat perfectly every single day. And just trying to figure out ways that you can support yourself to make, healthier foods more convenient and more available in your life. Okay, but I digress. So like I said, there is sometimes a time and a place, and sometimes it can be really helpful to sort of do this whole reset, if you will. What I think is really important, though, if you are going to do the reset, is to make sure that you're still getting in the 70 to 80 grams of protein at least. If you're a man that's 6'2" or taller, you might need more than that. If you're a really petite female, you might need less. But just to kind of keep that in mind, so at least you are getting your protein intake, which is really important for maintaining your muscle mass. And then if you do this, trying to remember to stay active as well. If you're just kind of pretty immobile, not very active, what happens is, yes, you might lose some weight, but you also lose a decent amount of muscle. And when you lose muscle, that's what decreases your metabolism. And so when you might lose 5 pounds, but then eventually you'll kind of gain back that 5 pounds and then a bonus 1 or 2 pounds. That's because of that loss of muscle mass. And so that's where, if you're going to do the pouch reset, make sure you're still getting in some good protein choices. Go to your protein shakes or whatnot, powders, whatever it is that helps you get it in. The other thing too is to try to include some fresh fruits and vegetables too, because a lot of people end up getting really constipated on the pouch reset diets. You have a change in your microbiome. So those good gut bacteria, if you drastically alter your diet or are taking antibiotics or anything like that, or fasting, it changes that gut microbiome. And so you might notice like, oh, I'm getting cramps or excessive gas, or I'm not as regular. Those are all the things that kind of play into that. So I hope that answers some questions and clears up some confusion for you guys. If there are any questions that you have, I will again always post this to our main page, and you can feel free to share it or send me a private message, whatever you feel most comfortable with. All right, thanks guys.